Hi students, it's Miss Gilbert. Now we are going to talk about types of quadrilaterals. Quad means four. So quadrilaterals, these are sides. So it has four sides. The first one we're going to talk about is called a parallelogram. Parallelogram. In a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. And remember, parallel means they have the same slope. Opuestos lados tienen lo mismo slope. They have the same slope. They are parallel. The opposite sides have the same length. Okay, so opposite sides are parallel and the same length. So that means that this side and this side are equal or congruent, and this side and this side are equal or congruent. They are also parallel which means they have the same slope. So for example, we can say that this side is 5 and this side is 5 for the length, and maybe this one's 2 and this one's 2. And then the slope of this line, I'm just going to say it has a slope of, this is not to scale, 1/2. And this one has a slope of 1/2. So opposite sides have the same slope. Also, opposite angles are congruent. So this angle and this angle are the same. This angle and this angle are the same. These opposite sides also have the same slope. So maybe this one is 4/3, and this slope is 4/3. Okay, so opuestos lados tiene lo mismo slope. Opposite sides have the same slope, and opposite sides have the same length. Opuestos lados tiene lo mismo longitudes. Okay, now rectangles. Rectangles have all angles are right angles, 90 degrees. And then the same thing as parallelograms, opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides have the same length. So these sides are the same. Oof, that was not a good drawing, but opposite sides are the same length. So if this is 3, this side is 3. If this side is 7, this side is 7. And then all angles are 90 degrees. They are perpendicular, right angles. Remember, perpendicular means that the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So for example, only for example, if this slope is, let's say, 3/2, that means this slope is 3/2. And then, because these lines are parallel, but these lines are perpendicular, so this slope would be opposite and reciprocal, -2/3. Same with this side, 2/3, opposite and reciprocal. Okay, now another type of quadrilateral is a kite. A kite has two separate pairs of congruent sides. So these two sides right here are congruent, and these two sides are congruent. So this side is equal with this side, and this side is equal with this side. Also, the diagonals are perpendicular. So if you connected the corners, these diagonals are perpendicular. Okay? And then just for example, let's say the length of this side is 3, so the length of this side is 3. Length of this side could be 5, and length of this side is 5. That is a kite, for example. A rhombus has all sides congruent, equal opposite angles. So todos lados son igual. Opuesto ángulos son igual. Opposite sides are parallel. Opuesto lados son parallel. Diagonals are angle bisectors. And the diagonals are also perpendicular bisectors of each other. So for example, let me draw a rhombus. Opposite sides are parallel and equal. So that means that all of these sides are the same length. This is 4, 4, 4, 4. They're parallel on the opposite sides. And then these diagonals are perpendicular, 90 degrees, and they're angle bisectors, which means the angle is cut into equal parts. And lastly, they have equal opposite angles. That means that this angle and this angle are congruent, and this one and this one are congruent. Okay, we have two more types of quadrilaterals. This one is a square. A square has all sides equal, all angles 90 degrees. So todos lados son igual. Para el ejemplo, for example, 4, 4, 4, 4. But this is different from a rhombus because this has all 90-degree angles. And also the diagonals on this shape form 4 isosceles right triangles. So if you drew diagonals, all of these triangles are isosceles and right triangles. Lastly, we have isosceles trapezoids. So isosceles trapezoids look like this. Where the legs are congruent. These two sides are the legs, congruent. The bases are parallel. So this line and this line are parallel, but not equal. They don't have to be equal. The lower base angles are congruent. So these two angles are congruent, and the upper base angles are congruent. These two angles are congruent. And then the diagonals, those are congruent. So if you drew lines connecting the corners, these two lines are equal. Okay,